going on, everybody? Good morning. I'm just about to be heading out. I'm heading to Guelph this morning, which I love. I love Guelph. I always thought heading into downtown out of all of Southern Ontario is the best because it's the most exciting and there's so many different things to do, but I'm actually really loving these small towns. Guelph is, not so small, but it's, small compared to Toronto, and I just love it. The farmland, the agricultural scene there is amazing. In one of my last videos, I was talking about fermented bread. There's, phenomenal bakeries there that actually do ferment their bread old world style. I'm just making a smoothie on the way out. I'm gonna be adding some banana and blueberry pretty much to sweeten, as well as some of the ergogenics. I have some of the hemp, what do you call it? The hemp plus greens. It has some like natural flavor. It's flavored with monk fruit and vanilla. But it got me thinking, when I'm traveling around to different health food stores, a big topic is sweeteners. People often ask, what do you use to sweeten, and what is the best sweeteners? Even sugar, like this here it's just sugar, but it's not your average sugar. It's organic, non-GMO, project verified cane sugar, right? And so is that really better? Is it not? Maple syrup, is that better? So I have maple syrup, applesauce, honey. What is the best? What should you use for sweetening? What should you look for in supplements? People ask me all the time. The quicker of it is, the more natural it is and the more whole it is, the better. So ideally, the best things to sweeten are really just fruit, in my opinion, just flat out fruit. So I have, 2 bananas over here. I'm gonna add in some frozen blueberries. That's really the best. If that's enough for you, that by far is the best. You can add other things to manipulate flavor. You can add in Organic Traditions vanilla pods. They have that, which are incredible. Those are just whole vanilla pods ground up into a powder. So it's not sweet, but it gives you the illusion that it tastes sweet. Cacao powder is another thing to give it a chocolatey sort of flavor, especially mixed with banana. You can add in shredded coconut. It's not sweet, but when you add it in with banana, it gives this incredible, it's sort of like coconut being sweetened naturally by the banana, if that makes sense. Out of all of the sweeteners, it's the artificial stuff and the highly extracted stuff that are the worst. They make the worst of the worst of the worst. So aspartame, Splenda, right, which is sucralose. You'll see that written on all sorts of supplement labels. You'll say, it says aspartame free, but then you read the ingredient, it says sucralose. So what's that? That's Splenda. Now, I could do more and more videos on exactly why I think those sweeteners are bad and why you should avoid them at all cost. I'm not going to do that in this case. I think we've heard enough of that. We could just look on YouTube. What I want to sort of put forth is that in the supplement world, a lot of supplements are sweetened with stevia, but there's many different levels of extraction. When you look at stevia, some of the times you'll see standardized to contain steviosides. Sometimes the labels will say it and sometimes they won't. But that's my point. With something like stevia, there's so many different extraction methods, you'll never really know which ones are the highly processed ones and which ones aren't. Maybe if it says whole organic stevia leaf, that's fair. I mean, when you pick stevia leaf off the tree, it's naturally sweet. I've done this. You can just taste it right off. It's incredible. Organic Traditions has that. It's just obviously if you mix it in with tea or something like that, it sort of floats. Mixing in a smoothie, however, is perfect. So if you can find organic whole stevia leaf and you just put it up, or ground stevia leaf into a powder, then you could put that in, no problem. I would say there's nothing wrong with that as far as I know. But these stevia extracts, when you're extracting something out of a herb, the traditional methods of extraction are through alcohol, and usually they're chemical free. However, that's not the case with most supplements and most natural health products. Most of the time nowadays, companies are cutting costs and they're extracting what they feel let's say the sweet components are. In stevia, it's the steviosides. So it's heavily processed. They use harsh chemicals to rip out the steviosides. That's why actually there's a lot of controversy. There have been some liver concerns when taking some stevia, and then other companies will rebuttal back saying, well, we process ours better than theirs, and they didn't test on this or that. Or I just say avoid it. Unless you're getting the whole organic, whole leaf ground into a powder, that's different. I would say that's a valid option. Yacon syrup is an amazing option. I don't have Yacon syrup here. I'm gonna see if I can put a link up there to my favorite Yacon syrup. It's by a company called Uko. You could find it. It's one of the best sweeteners known. And this company actually, they're starting to do some incredible research on blood sugar stability with a sweetener, which is unbelievable. It's natural, traditionally extracted. So I would look into Yacon syrup. Applesauce is great, but just don't include applesauce as an apple, because applesauce is pasteurized, so you're killing a lot of the vitamin C. In fact, a lot of the times you'll look, wait, let me look at the ingredients here. Look, organic apples, water, and ascorbic acid. You could probably see that. Hold on. I don't know, you can't really see that, but anyway, ascorbic acid is vitamin C. Why are they adding vitamin C back into the applesauce? The reason why they're adding it back in is because when you pasteurize the apples to make the sauce, you're trying to kill bacteria, right? You also destroy the vitamin C. So anything pasteurized, don't, you know, it could be sweetened, it's good, you know, add it to a sweetener, add it to your baked goods, you know, to make it moist and so forth, but don't count it as a value of an apple. It's not an apple. You know, still, if you want the nutrition of an apple, just add in an organic apple into your Vitamix. Maple syrup is one of the better sweeteners, I would say. Just use less of it. You know, don't overdo it. People think that just because maple syrup is better than highly refined, highly processed sugar, sucralose, aspartame, or even these stevia extracts, which I agree, by the way, I think it's way better. Doesn't mean that you can use copious amounts and not feel the wrath of blood sugar spikes, especially over time, which can lead to chronic disease. So use it in moderation. Use it to sweeten, but not to make it overly sweet, okay? And then, what else? Honey. This is actually my favorite sweetener of all time. Honey, not necessarily this brand. There are tons of brands. Actually, the best I find is local, organic that you could find around whatever your community is. Peterborough has some amazing honey. Port Hope has amazing honey. You'll find in your local communities, if you go to a farm or you'll find you're from a local farmer, those are the best, especially if it's organic, or especially if they have, you know, if maybe they can't afford organic distinctions, but the farmer itself can tell you stories about how they're keeping their bees and, you know, what they're doing to preserve the bees, and even where the bees are going, you know, where the bees land, where the pollination occurs. Are there a lot of pesticides and herbicides being used on these plants, and then the bees go on, and so you can get that on the honey. Honey actually can be one of the most heavily sprayed stuff on the planet in terms of food. So you want to be looking for organic. I've read some interesting literature about Cuba and their honey as being pesticide free. I'm not really sure how true that is, but I have read that. Either way, one of the things I like looking for is organic, if you can find organic, but also raw and unpasteurized. Unpasteurized is one, of course, from a trusted source, you know, because there's a reason why they pasteurize honey for mass market, because otherwise it could be dangerous with growth, culture growth, right? And you can get extremely sick. Children under the age of 1 should never have honey. That's a great rule of thumb to know. And there is a difference between raw and unpasteurized. So unpasteurized means that it's not really heated to the extent of what normal pasteurization is to kill bacteria and other microbes, but raw, unpasteurized, it could still be heated to a certain extent, killing some of the compounds in the honey. So that's why some companies have the distinction of being both raw and raw honey unpasteurized. Okay, hold on, I'm gonna see. Freshly bottled after extracting raw honey, has not been reheated or filtered. Enjoy all the benefits of enzymes and pollen. This delicate honey, this delicate tasting honey. Tiny bits of beeswax and pollen are perfectly normal. See, you want all that stuff, right? Crystallization of the honey is a natural process that can be expected over time. Yeah, okay. So anyway, that's about enough when it comes to sweeteners. If you have any questions on sweeteners whatsoever, hit me up in the comment section below. I would love to respond. If there's other videos that you want me to create, any health topic whatsoever, hit me up, really. I mean, you know, is Nutella great for breakfast? No, even though it's delicious. You know, hit me up with these health questions and I'll try my best to answer them. I may create a video for you if it's something I think that would be worthwhile. Otherwise, for sure, I'll respond. I'm a great responder. Email me, Robert@LifelongWell, Twitter @LifelongWell, and Instagram, Robert Horovitz, which I'm just getting started on. So, and I'm having a lot of fun there. Have a wonderful day out there, guys, and remember to do something healthy. Do something that makes you feel amazing today, either in the morning or just in general today. For me, it's a smoothie that I'm about to bring on the road with me. So, have an amazing day.